Land is one of Ghana's most valuable resources. It's no surprise it's one of the most contested. Despite years of reform efforts, many Ghanaians still face challenges when trying to properly register land, secure title documents, or resolve ownership disputes. Now, land administration continues to generate controversy across the country. In addition to that, are developments like rapid urbanization, rising land values, money laundering, and pressure on land in growing cities like Accra and Kumasi. These have only intensified the already existing problems. Today on Hot Issues, I examine what the ultimate record keeper of Ghana's land resources, the Lands Commission, is doing to bring and maintain sanity. Now, keep in mind that over the years, millions of taxpayer cedis and grants have been poured into modernizing land administration systems, digitizing records, streamlining registration, and reducing the thousands of land cases that clog our courts. So how effective is Ghana's land administration framework today? Are the reforms working? And what must change to ensure land governance supports development while protecting the rights of citizens? I am Kamini Amano, and my guest is the Executive Secretary of the Lands Commission, Professor Anthony Owusu-Ansah.
Watching DSTV means getting the TV you love, but staying
Prof, you're welcome to Hot Issues.
Thank you very much.
The Land Commission has progressed so much in terms of how it does its job, but we continue to see a lot of land-related issues. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, as you know, land is a basic asset that God gave us, and everybody is interested in land. So in the olden days, when God said, Abraham, I will bless you, God blessed Abraham with land. So that's one asset that everybody wants to own. So generally expect some form of litigation on land. So I'm not surprised that it happens that way, because everybody wants the asset. And that asset is limited in nature. No, the land doesn't grow, it's fixed. And people we are increasing in number day in and day out. And I believe that is one of the reasons why the litigation is ongoing, because I know the Lands Commission is doing a lot, but the interest, the personal interest that people have in land also keeps increasing.
We know that the laws around land acquisition and its use were amended sometime in 2020, and so we now have the Land Act of 2020. Given the backdrop of the emotionally charged atmosphere around land as a form of real estate, how do you situate that new law, the Land Commission, and the problems we are faced with today?
Yeah. Initially, before the Act 1036, which is the Land Act, 1036, the Land Act 2020, we are having series of acts. And all these acts were codified into the Land Act 2020 at 1036. Now, when this act came into being, most of the challenges that we are having before that act was passed were all addressed, or most of them were addressed in the new Land Act. So with the promulgation of this new Land Act, we expect that litigation in land to some extent will be reduced. But we need the LI, that's the legislative instrument, to address most of the issues mentioned in the Land Act. And as we speak, that LI is currently with the subsidiary part of the legislature, the parliament, for them to deal with it. So it has moved from the Lands Commission, it has gone to the ministry, comments have been made, and it's now with the parliament, and we are waiting for them to do the readings and then pass the LI eventually. So when that one is enforced, most of the things that have expression in the law, it will guide us on how best we can implement it.
I see. So explain to me, what are some of the challenges it will address once it is operationalized?
For instance, if we expect the chiefs that before you even go ahead and sell land, you have to prepare a scheme of the area. The chiefs don't do that. That's one area. They just go ahead, sell the land, they bring the document to the Lands Commission for registration. So I'm sure the LI, as part of the measures, will now give some punitive measures. If you are supposed to do a scheme before you sell the land, you are not doing it, what and what should be applied, what sanctions should be applied, what should the Lands Commission do, because this is not done. So I'm sure the LI will address some of these things. And one other gray area that I also expect the LI to address is that when, for instance, a family head or a chief grant a lease, the lease expires, what happens? If you go to Ashanti region, I know Tumfo has brought a law that should that happen, they have to renew the lease. And when the lease is renewed, you, the owner of that land, the lessee, the person who's owning the land currently, you should have 1/3 of the value. Then the lessor, the person who granted, if it's a stool, the stool should have 1/3. The 1/3 will go to the lawyer, in this case, Tumfo. So in Ashanti region, at least there's some form of sanity in the way these things are done. But if you go to other areas, because we don't have the LI to regulate this, it becomes a problem. Mostly they charge the full market value of the land, and that keeps adding costs to the people who own it.
I see. We also know that this act, the Act 1036, is supposed to ensure that we have records of all our lands in this country. Are we able to do that now without the LI? Do we have those records?
Yeah, we are supposed to do that, and we have most of them. I think the first thing is that we need to map the entire country. We need a base map of the entire country to see the development that we have and where the lands are. So where we've mapped the entire country, then we can keep such records. As we speak, it's only some few areas that we have. The last time they did the mapping was, I think, 1974 or so. So it's a long way. But that comes at a very huge cost.
Okay.
So it's all logistics.
I see. So again, I want to understand the mapping. So you have started the mapping now, which will be the first one since 1978, you say?
74.
74.
Yes. We map when it becomes necessary. Let's say you want to do acquisition, then can go and map the area for you. But you don't have map covering the entire country. And that's one thing that during my tenure, we are talking with our minister, the president. We are trying to see whether you can get some external donors to come in so that we can do that. When that is done, half of our challenges will be solved.
Because you have records of all the existing lands. So as we speak now, we do, is there any kind of record outside of the mapping? What kind of records do we have of our lands?
Mostly state lands, because we control the state lands. We manage the state lands. So with state lands, we have records as where the lands are, who is owing or who has been given a lease, so on and so forth. Then when it comes to the family and then the stool land, the records is with the family head or the stool. We're able to get the record where people come and register. So even when you've given the land out, you've granted the lease, and then the lessees are not coming to register the land, we wouldn't know.
But that also gives room for litigation for whoever owns the land.
Exactly.
I see.
And they think it's Lands Commission. No, that one is private land. It's supposed to be managed by the private. We come in when registration is done, and let's say we do the registration in error, that's where you can accuse Lands Commission of doing anything. Exactly.
So a lot of the litigations, particularly of private lands that are happening now, which the Land Commission is accused of being checking their responsibilities, which is why it's happening.
You may not be the cause, no. You may not be the cause. What we have to do probably is to help them, for them to map their boundaries.
I see.
But when they get the money is used for something else. Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, perhaps we should understand the land acquisition process. To a family to buy a land from a family, and it's not only a family that sells land, but let's use that.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do as a buyer?
Okay. So if you go to the family, first of all, of course, you negotiate to know how much you're supposed to pay. And we say that in Ghana, land is not bought. They grant a lease. Of course, the huge money that they are taking is drink money to pacify the gods for granting you a lease on the land. So when you are going for a lease on that piece of land, then you have to do a search. You can get a copy of the site plan. You bring the site plan to the Lands Commission. We do a search for you to tell you who the allodial owners is or who has that particular piece of land, who is supposed to grant that land. So if your grantor's name is not in our system, then it means I have to do more investigation before you buy it. But if you come and then your grantor's name is in our system, then you can go ahead and then transact business with the person. So if you transact a business in Accra, mostly they give indentures. Then you get the indenture, then you can proceed to the Lands Commission for us to do registration for you.
I see. So what will then solidify my ownership of any land that I buy or lease?
Yeah, that's the registration.
Okay. So the end document will be what?
So let's say in Accra, I'm using Accra as a case. So you've gone to family A.
Yeah.
They've given you the land. Of course, you do a search first. Then the search has come out that the grantor is actually having the land. So they grant you a lease. Then you have to come to the Lands Commission. When we come to the Lands Commission, we have our Land Service Access Unit, the CSAU. You go there, they will verify. Of course, you have to do stamping, and then the court should also stamp it before you come.
Right.
When they do their verification and everything is in order, they are going to scan your document. When the document is scanned, then they send it to the Land Registration Division of the Lands Commission. When the document gets there, they also do another search. And they'll do a search from their end, that's the Land Registration Division. They'll do a search from the PVLMD, that is the Public and Vested Lands Management Division. And they'll do a search from the SMD, that's the Survey and Mapping Division, to ascertain that indeed the records that you have, that you want to register, is actually true. So when that is done, and the verification is ascertained that you can go ahead and register the land, then they proceed. They proceed by letting you go to the assembly to get planning comments. The planning comments here, before a land is registered, you have to ascertain that the use of the land conforms to the land use regulations in the particular area. So the district assembly will give you that planning permit, the planning comment, then you bring it to the Lands Commission. When you bring it and it conforms, then you go ahead and do publication. We publish it in the dailies for 14 days for people to see that you want to register this land. If no caveat is raised, it means that you can go ahead. So you prepare the title plan, then we issue you land certificate. So you hold the certificate, it means that the land belongs to you. You can trade with the land, you can take mortgage on the land, so on and so forth.
So how is it that some people are able to, I mean, for one piece of land, two people can have registration documents for the land? Is that a lapse in the Lands Commission's operations?
To some extent, I would say yes and no.
Okay.
In what we do, first of all, the chiefs may do the double or the triple or the multiple allocations that we are talking about. When you come with your document and you are in the process, another person can also come. We are not able to detect that this document has been received, the same land has been received, until we are doing the title plan, and that is at the far end. Okay. When you finish and we are plotting, that's where we get to know that this has been done. So normally the two certificates will not be issued, one will be cancelled, but then the process, they have taken time. And that will bring about the issue. I send this document to the Lands Commission, it has taken 2 years, they are now coming back to tell me that the land belongs to somebody. Exactly.
But why hasn't the digitization of your services been able to deal with that?
Yeah, that's one thing that I've identified. So now we are discussing that before, as soon as you bring the document, and then you lodge the document with us, you can note a proposal that somebody is in the process of doing that. Okay. And that also means that the title plan will have to be done from the beginning. When that is done from the beginning, then we are able to see. So when you bring, party B also bring the same document, you're able to tell that somebody is already registering this land. So that will, in a way, solve that problem.
So that new process, has it begun?
Yeah, it hasn't, but we are in the process because you have to put steps, things, underway before you can just go ahead and do it.
How will that deal with concerns about delays when people have to register their properties?
Yeah. If it is state land, normally within 6 weeks you have it. Remember, the land is a legal document, and anything that is legal, a lot of litigations comes with it. That's why we normally take our time to do it. If it's a state land, we normally don't do the publication. So that becomes easier. Within 6 weeks, you are able to do it. But if it's a family or stew land, because there are so many processes involved, you have to ascertain that indeed the land belongs to you. And indeed, when you are issued the land title certificate, we are not going to have ourselves in the court. So we normally take our time to do it. But some of the delays come from the assembly when the planning permit is needed. That's one area that the delays come from. Then legally, you are supposed to, publish it in the daily. That also takes time for it to be done. So these are two of the areas. And there are some too, when we publish, the grantor will bring a caveat that no, it's not that particular land they gave to you. We can give you another land. So once the caveat is given, then we cannot proceed until that issue is resolved. So all these are some of the reasons why there could be delays in the registration of land.
It looks like we're trying new things and under your tenure. We'll go deeper into that. But because you've mentioned state lands a few times, I want us to discuss state lands. When the Mahama administration returned, one of the concerns that it had to do with the allocation and sale of state lands, for which reason he ordered an audit of the records as they are. What has happened since then?
Fortunately, I was actually part of the committee. The committee has finished its work, and I know it has been presented at Cabinet, and Cabinet has also adopted the recommendations. So as Lands Commission, you are waiting for directive from the sector minister on exactly what to do so that you can also proceed with it.
Are you able to tell us what you found in that investigation?
I know now the discussion is still at the Cabinet level. And when Cabinet, I know it will go to the ministry before it comes to Lands Commission. So I wouldn't be able to give any further information.
Any further information. We know within that period, the president had placed a ban on the sale of state lands. Subsequently, he lifted that ban. Have we sold any state land since then?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
If that land, when the president lifted the ban, the minister also said that the committee is still working. So there were some aspects that they lifted. First of all lands in the capital, they are still banned on them. You cannot go ahead and sell it.
I see.
And even outside the capital, if the value is more than 500,000 per acre, you can't sell. And indeed, we are not selling, we are giving, let's make that one clear, we are granting leases. So you cannot go ahead and grant any lease. Yeah, so for these two, the ban still affected until further notice.
Yeah. How about other parts of the country where there are state lands?
Other parts of the country where there are state land and the value per acre is not up to 500,000, you can go ahead and grant leases.
But you haven't sold any yet?
In Accra, no. The other regions haven't received reports.
Any report yet? I see. I want us to look at how emotionally charged land sale is in this country. Because even outside of Accra, there are places where land disputes have caused major problems. How do we juxtapose the problems we see, the disputes we see around lands that sometimes get bloody, and the work that you do? Where do we put that blame of ownership?
I remember on Monday, a woman came to see me. He has bought a land, and somebody has gone ahead and developed the land. So he wants Lands Commission to help. So I asked him where the land is located. He mentioned it, and clearly it was a family land. It's not a stew land. The mandate of the Lands Commission doesn't extend to family lands or stew lands. What we do is just to register. So there's two, and then the family that grant the leases. That's one problem that we have. There's multiple ownership. There's two reserving some, the families, individuals, then the state. In countries where the state owns all the land, such problems do not exist. That's one thing. So I think public education is something that we can do. We have to really educate our chiefs and family heads on the do's and don'ts when you want to sell land. And there are also no clear boundaries or demarcation about, the extent of boundary for the chiefs or for the families. At first they use some trees to demarcate. Now the tree is no more. So the land is gone. Nobody knows the boundary. So you can educate them and then help them to also demarcate their lands.
I mean, so someone will say that the Lands Commission is the ultimate record keeper, right? Yeah. So then the question will now be how these institutions, your office, the customary land secretariat, and the other institutions, including the MMDs, how you communicate with each other, how you collaborate in land acquisition and land use. Okay. How would you describe that relationship?
First of all, let me say this. The Lands Commission, if you go to the National Lands Commission, the composition of it, the National House of Chiefs has a rep in it. I see. Yes. Now, Ghana Bar Association, they has a rep on the National Lands Commission. Every region has a rep, the National Lands Commission. LUSPA, Land Use and Special Planning Authority, they deal with the scheming of the area. They also have a rep. EPA has a rep on the National Lands Commission. So, and if you go to region, all these representatives are also at the region. So the regional House of Chief has a rep. So that collaboration is there, actually. Because whatever decision we take at the regional or National Lands Commission meeting, all these stakeholders are involved in taking those decisions. And we expect that they will go to the field and then implement it.
Does the working relationship exist outside of the commission? Because it would appear that, for instance, customary land secretariat is not communicating to
the Lands Commission.
To Lands Commission.
Exactly.
Yes. So how do we cure that problem?
I think for Lands Commission, for instance, on almost weekly basis, we are in touch with the Office of the Administrator of Stool Lands. And by law, the Lands Commission and then the OASL are supposed to help to establish these customary land secretariats. After establishing them, they will be on their own. So maybe from time to time, we can go there, offer some education, have some interaction, and some engagement with them to know what they are doing and what they can improve in doing. So probably that's where I would take it from. More engagement will be needed, obviously, in that field. But currently, we don't. Apart from coming for meetings and going, we really don't know what is happening there. And that may also lead to some of these issues that we have.
I see. And your services are digitized?
Not all places.
Okay, explain that to me.
Greater Accra is not fully digitalized. Okay. It's like semi-automated. And as part of this year's budget, I know that the sector minister has pushed that we keep our entire IGF so that the ministry can help to do this digitalization agenda. So that's something that this year we are going to pursue rigorously in doing this. And then all the 6 new regions, they are also digitalized. But the other 9 regions, we don't have it. It's manual in nature.
Wow.
Yeah, and this year is one of our agendas as Lands Commission to extend our software, that's the Enterprise Land Information Services, to these other 9 regions. And as we speak, there's a team in Kofodia trying to install computers and doing that there. I see.
So the full digitization, what would it look like for Lands Commission to be fully digitized?
Further, we have to scan all our files, mother files, we call something babies, because if you've done the first registration, your file will be the mother file. Any subsequent grant that you give also lead to a new file being generated for whoever you're giving the grant to. So you have to scan all the files. That's a work on its own. Yeah. And it's something that we've done, but not everything, but at least most of them have been scanned. So in Accra, we intend to finish the scanning, put all the records into the system, and also our ability to protect the system, what we have. Because anything, it's IT, and anything can happen to it, exactly. So even as we are doing that, we hope that files will no longer be moving from one office to the other. Everything will be done online. Yeah.
I see. How would that improve your service delivery?
If you're able to do that, clients don't need to come to the commission. You can sit at the comfort of your home. You do submit your application, then the system will take care of itself. You do all your payment online. You don't need to come. And if clients don't have to come here, the number of people that we are going to see in the offices will be reduced. And then within a short period of time, you should be able to get your certificate for you. So I think that is going to help a lot.
I see. What are the timelines associated with that digitalization project?
Yeah. Of course, it needs some money. So once we are able to get all the resources concerned, probably within the next 2-3 years, we should be able to do that.
But right now, you have your IGF. The minister says you can keep your IGF.
Yes, we do, but it may not be enough for the project.
How much are we looking at?
The budget that I saw last 3 years, they were talking about 165 million USD.
I see. For the complete digitalization of your services.
Exactly.
And your IGF is likely to come to what?
Oh, IGF, of course, it depends on
what was your IGF last year?
Oh, last year, I don't want to talk about last year. The reason being that, there was a ban. And one of our major source of revenue has to do with the state land leasing that we give. And because there was a ban, we couldn't do anything. So virtually nothing came in. I see. I hope you are getting it exactly. So you don't know how this year is going to be like.
But people pay for your services.
People pay, but how much did they pay?
It's not enough.
Yeah, not at
Really?
all. And I wish they actually increase the service, especially where you are able to improve upon our services. We should be able to increase the fee that we charge.
So we should expect a review, an upward review of your charges once you conclude.
Once we have, exactly. Our system has been improved.
I see. Yeah. We'll come back from our break and talk about land valuation.
Okay.
We'll also talk a bit more about the digitized system, because I want to understand, okay, parts of it is digitized now. Which parts of it, can people get access to at this time? Yeah. You're watching Hot Issues. My guest is Professor Anthony Owusu-Ansah. He's Executive Secretary for the Lands Commission. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. It's still Hot Issues here on TV3. I am Kevin Amano, and my guest is Acting Executive Secretary of the Lands Commission, Professor Anthony Owusu-Ansah. Prof, thank you so much for sitting down with us. I want us to talk about land use and land valuation. What role does the Commission play in those two aspects? Okay.
So Lands Commission, we have 4 main divisions. The first one is Survey and Mapping Division. Then the second one is the PVLMD, that is the Public and Vested Land Management Division. Then we have the LRD, Land Registration Division. And then we have the LVD, Land Valuation Division. So when government want to acquire a land, and then the government will need to pay compensation, it's the responsibility of the Lands Commission, in this case the LVD, that's the Land Valuation Board or Division, to go and do the assessment for us to know the compensation payable to the affected people. That's one of our role. So we do valuation for compensation for government and government agencies. That's one. And even for private, when you come to us, we can also give that services to you.
How often do private hands come to you for that service?
Private, they don't normally happen often, but the main state agencies and the mining companies, they also.
You think it's because people are unaware that the Lands Commission can provide them such a service?
Maybe there are also a lot of private valuers. Maybe they are more comfortable with them rather than coming to us.
Maybe that's why land is very expensive.
Yeah, that could also be.
Because we are not using certified valuers.
Valuers. But even the private ones, they're also certified anyway.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Who certifies the land valuer?
The Ghana Institutional Surveyors.
Oh, I see.
Exactly. So
and it's the same with the surveyors as well?
It's the same with the surveyors. The land, of course, that's not the area, but if you take the Ghana Institutional Surveyors, the GHIS, there are 3 divisions. we have the quantity survey division, then we have the land survey division, and then we have the valuation and estate division. So they are all form one body.
I see.
Ghana Surveyors.
I see. But if somebody wanted, they could come to the Lands Commission.
Yeah, you can come.
That's what
whether it's valuation, whether it's survey, when you come to us, we can give that services to you.
But also on the subject of land use,
Yeah.
what role does the commission play?
It's the Lands Commission together with the LUSPA, Land Use and Spatial Planning. The Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority will have to prepare a scheme for an area before land could be sold in that particular area. You cannot prepare the scheme without the base map. And the base map is prepared by the Survey and Mapping Division of the Lands Commission. So that's where that collaboration comes in.
I see. So when we see a lot of inappropriate use of land, who is to be blamed for that?
Before you can build, you need to get permit from the district assembly.
Okay.
So if you don't have permit, why are you building? So the district assembly should be the first point of call. They should be able to ensure that the buildings that people are putting up conform to the existing layout.
I see. But then the registration also came from the Lands Commission.
Exactly.
So if somebody's land is in a waterway, for instance, then the Lands Commission should know and not give that person a certificate to that land.
Apparently, the new Land Act 1036 has made it compulsory that before you build, first of all, you have to register the land. But they don't do the registration, but they go ahead. Some of them don't even have permit, but they go ahead and develop. And before you even build, you need building permit first from the assembly before you can go ahead and develop. So it's just the laws that people don't respect, and enforcement is also a key factor. We don't enforce the rules that we have.
But is the commission not able to crack the whip on people who inappropriately use the land?
The commission, before we even do the registration, we need to get planning permit. So where the assembly is saying that approve, the area is residential, the person is also using for residential, there's nothing we can do.
Your hands are tied.
Issue exactly the title registration.
I see. So then if we were to crack whip on recalcitrant builders or developers like that, we should start from the assemblies.
Exactly.
There are those who, for instance, will give permits to.
Before the person can be given permit, the person should have title. So we should direct the person to come for title. Like when we are registering, we come for planning permit. So they should also do the same before they issue the building permit to them.
I see. So then it appears it's a chicken and egg situation.
Exactly.
Because if the person manages to go behind the commission, get someone to give them a permit from the assembly and bring it to you, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. When you go ahead and then get a permit, it means that you are going to develop.
You are going to develop.
So when you develop your house and you are coming for registration, then we go to assembly for planning comment. Then they will say that the area is conforming. So you just go ahead and issue the title.
I see. But then once the LI operationalizes the law, the person cannot. There is no room for anybody to go to. It shouldn't
be the case. The person should get the permit without registering the land.
Yeah. I see. So it means that the complications of the law is what we have. What has led us to where we are in a lot of these cases. So, I mean, we should still be able to sanction people who do that.
I believe so. You should be able to do that.
Does the law empower you to be able to sanction people who do that?
Yes, the law empowers us to do that. But then, like I said earlier on, we have to do this together with the assembly. We are doing our part in that before we give you a 30 certificate, we confirm the assembly for them to confirm that indeed the area, the usage conforms to the existing layout. But they don't do that. When somebody is coming for building permits, they should make sure that the person is having title before they also give the building permit. And then the other side, where people don't take permit, they don't register, but they go ahead and develop. And that's more than the people who take permit or even register the land. And that's the problem that we are all facing.
All right. So I want to talk about the aspects of your services that are digitalized at the moment. Which ones are those? How is that improving your service, as Lands Commission?
But one of them is searches. If you want to do search, you don't have to come to Lands Commission. You can log on to our website, you upload your site plan, you do the necessary payment there, they do the search within 48 hours, they respond with the search report, then you print it out yourself. So that one is complete. You don't need to come to the Lands Commission, so it's one of the areas. Now, if you want to register, you can also upload your document online. When they vet online, they will let you know what you need to add. But people also prefer to come to our CSAU. When we come and they vet it, then they will begin the digitalization from there by scanning the document into the system. You don't need to handle files from one office to another before you do. Everything will be done at the back office. Then the document will be given out to you. So these two areas. And then the third one is that we are trying to introduce FIFO, that's first in, first out. That's one problem that we've seen. That people are able to get their title registration done easily, depending on who they know at the commission. We want to avoid that, so that you can give a fair playground to everybody. So when your document is registered first or come in first, and everything, all things being equal, you are going to ensure that you get your title first before the second person.
How will you be able to achieve that?
It's a software, what we are going to put in. Because let's say if there are 5 people who are given approval for the land to be registered, and you work and you are one of the people, you've given you 20 people to approve for the registration to be done. And you finish with the first or second, you cannot move on to the 20th. So even if you know the 20th person, you can't do it until you finish the preceding ones. So that's one thing that we intend to do this year.
Right. Public perception is that the staff of the commission are sometimes the reason people don't get their certificate early enough. How do you respond to that? What are the steps you're taking to ensure that your staff are not complicit in some of the things that we see or hear?
Okay. First of all, I must say that the Lands Commission staff are very professional. In fact, they are trained professionally, so they know what to do at every point in time. Of course, in every home, they say there are men's in every home. So obviously, I'm not saying there's a perfect system. There could be 1 or 2 people who are doing things outside our code of conduct. And I've had series of meetings with our staff, and I know the assurance they've given me, things are changing. Okay. And I think one other thing has to do with supervision. I've informed my regional lands officers, the directors, that the staff that they work with constantly, they should monitor what they do. And that's where the digitalization will help. Because that one, your supervisor will be able to know the number of people given to you, how far you've processed their document, and then what you are doing. But I also blame the public to some extent. It's like when they are coming to Lands Commission, they don't have time. They just want to meet somebody, hand the document to the person, and then leave. The people who may hand the document to may not be a staff at the Lands Commission. That's one thing. So if you don't engage the right people, then the feedback that you get will not be pleasant. So you also entreat the public. If possible, you go to the regional, ask for the regional lands officer. Even if you don't know them, you ask for the regional lands officer. If you go to the person's office, the person can direct you as to where to start from and then where to end. And they also undertake a lot of public education for them to know our fees, what we charge, how the processes are, so on and so forth. All these, I believe, will help. Then one other thing I've also seen since I came, how to do with the remuneration of staff. Actually, it's very, very, very low.
What does that mean when you say that it's very, very low?
As compared to other public servants, Lands Commission staff are one of the least paid employees in Ghana.
The perception is that the Land Commission is very rich. I'm surprised you're saying this.
Unfortunately, it's not.
I see.
When I was outside, I also thought same till I came in. But what I was receiving before coming here, is a bit higher than this one. So I will plead, and I've already had discussion with my minister and the people at the top, and I know that they are working on this. So very soon, the staff will be smiling. I'm pretty sure of that.
I see. But in terms of staff strength across the country to be able to cover and then do the job that the commission is required to do, what is your coverage like? Okay.
We are in all the 16 regions, and currently our staff strength nationally is around 1,792, 35 females and 65 males. I would not say the staff strength is low. Probably we need to do some staff realignment here and there.
Right.
Should be able to move people around. Because there are some areas that if you go, you get just like 5 people. But most of them prefer to stay in Accra. So that one is something that this year we intend to do, to move some staff where the resources most needed or their capacity will be most needed, we move them there for them to help work for the institution. And then President has tasked us and our sector minister to decentralize our operations.
Right.
And as we speak, we've identified about 110 districts who are interested in getting the Lands Commission services. And out of these, 36 have already provided us with offices. So we just need some few logistics in, and then those districts' offices will become operational. So that means that we need to do more recruitment. Exactly. And I know there are some discussions ongoing to help us get some clearance to do some recruitment to fill some of these district offices.
And that will be really helpful to your operations.
Of course it will, yeah.
Means that people don't have
you don't have to travel all the way to your regional capital before you can have the land service, land commission services rendered to you.
I see. And this, you said 110? Or
yeah, so far 110 districts have expressed interest.
Spread across the country?
Yeah, across the country. And 36 have given us offices already. It's just some logistics that we need. Yeah.
You had a meeting with NACOC recently, where the Land Commission assured of its commitment to ensure that illicit proceeds don't end up.
Yeah.
But how would you be able to do that?
Okay. So the discussion that we had, if somebody is having funds, the best way to wash that fund is to buy property. Okay. So for now, when they told us that if we are not sure of the person's source of revenue, but before you buy the property, you have to come and do stamping. During the stamping stage, you'll be able to know who is buying, who is involved, and all that. If you are not sure, you alert them. And she also set up a small office here so that if they want to do some investigation into who is owing this at where, you'll be able to provide for them. So that's the kind of service that we intend to give to them.
Oh, I see. If you're able to do that, but that will mostly be not with private lands, but with state lands.
Even private land.
Even private lands.
Where they have a lead that this person, the kind of money that he's having, needs to be worried. That's why he's buying this. They can let us have the site plan. We do our search, then we communicate to them. But they want us to do that promptly. So they need some specialized service from us. Exactly.
I see.
And not just them, but all the security agencies also.
I see. Is that a service that the Commission already provides, or this is something that will be introduced in your tenure?
We actually do provide.
Oh, okay.
Almost all the security agencies, YOCO, National Security, on daily basis, they bring us some document for us to verify for them, for us to provide information for them and that. But they wanted the results to come promptly. So they needed a specialized desk, people that they can contact from Lands Commission to do that.
What we see a lot in this country is we're using land, we're making money from land, but are we using it well? What does your expertise say?
When we say land, probably let me just give you a brief definition of land. Land includes the surface of the earth. What we all work on is part of land. The water bodies, they are all part of land. The space above is part of land. And then the space beneath is part of land. Now, there's this saying that land belongs to a group of people, of whom many are dead, a few are living, and countless hosts yet unborn. So whatever we are doing now, you should be thinking about the countless hosts yet unborn. You shouldn't think that you die and go, and that's the end. No. There are people who come and inherit whatever we are doing today. And land as a resource is limited in nature. It doesn't increase, doesn't grow. So I'll urge all and sundry that whatever we are doing on the land, you should be thinking about the future generation. And then the time will come that our great-great-grandchildren will come, they will not even have space to even live on in the country. In other countries, they are protected, they are building up, but we are trying to build across the base. And that's one challenge that we may have.
But I mean, what could, because I buy my land, I choose how I build on it. So what could we do as a country to improve the effective use of land?
We have all the good laws that we have, but it has to do with enforcement. That's the key problem. The question you asked me about MMDAs on that, I had another discussion with LUSPA director and some other people, and assembly. These were assemblies. Assemblies are blaming LUSPA is blaming Lands Commission is blaming the assemblies. You know, it's just enforcement is the key problem. Once we're able to enforce the laws that we have, I believe that we are going to live in paradise, exactly.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how effectively have we used land in the capital city?
I would give it 5 out of 10. But if you go to other countries, all that you see is high rise throughout. And there is a 10-story, then 5, 10 agencies can own it. But here everybody wants to say that this parcel is mine, and that's the challenge that we have. You should be able to work together. That communal living that you were having at the past, you can bring it to Greater Accra.
Right.
So you don't come and own a plot of land and say that you are going to build for yourself. You can go up, because the sky is part of the land, so that other people can also have places to live. So in the capital city, I think, I don't know. But recently, we can see that most of these bungalows are being demolished, and we are seeing some high rise coming up. I don't want to talk about the processes that led to, you know, the selling of these bungalows. But the high-rise buildings, even the cost, exactly. Yeah. But these high-rise buildings will help. It will create more room for people to get office space to use.
I mean, if you had last words for landowners, land buyers, or leasers, that's how you call them.
Yeah.
What would that be? What would that be?
I'll tell them that before they buy land, the Lands Commission should be their first resort. They have to come to us first for us to do a search for them on the land that they are buying. When you are buying land, you are buying rights and you are buying litigations. Whatever is on is what you carry. And that's why they have to come to us. When you come to us, you are going to verify to see whether whoever is giving you the land is the right grantor before you can get the land. And if you go online, our online services, there's this website that they can go to. They can find a lot of the things that we do there. If they want to do search, they can always upload their document. You do the search for them.
Speaking of litigation, how do you support the courts when it comes to land disputes?
When the court wants a composite plan, let's say you are claiming that this 0.5 is yours, somebody is claiming that this 0.7 is mine, and it's around the same area, the court will ask Lands Commission to do a dispute plan or composite plan. When that composite plan is generated, then the judges will be able to know whether the land overlap or they are different places before they can give their judgment. So that's one area that we come in. And sometimes when they come to us, for us to provide professional opinion as to the ownership of that piece of land, because we are supposed to keep all records of land. So if only the land is within our records, we can also give some information to the court before final judgment is given. I
see. So how many of such litigations is the commission involved in now?
For the composite plans, they come on daily basis. We have a whole section within the survey mapping division that deals with it. So you have a head of it who deal with composite or dispute plans.
So that's like every day?
It's every day.
So hundreds of cases over there?
There's a lot.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for talking to us. This is Hot Issues. I'll be back with another episode next week. I'm Kemini Amano. Bye-bye.